Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Thursday, January 16th, 2014. I am beginning today with some old business. From the activist post, Washington state bill would turn off resources to NSA's Yakima facility. And there is this push, turn it off, NSA's Achilles heel. So this is an idea that probably has merit. From RT, U.S. Telecoms seek to make internet enhanced form of cable TV. And this article is about some of the implications of the Supreme Court decision pertaining to net neutrality. And a little clarification from Electronic Frontier Foundation. In the open access fight, big publishers are the biggest hurdle. In light of the anniversary of Aaron Swartz's death and his big push was for open access, and this paragraph from EFF states, sometimes it's hard to believe that we are still arguing about open access to publicly funded research. The issue is as clear as it gets. We paid for the research. Most researchers are devoted by nature and profession to sharing their work, and the public benefits of open access can be tremendous. So perhaps the right question is, why in the world don't we already have free and open access to public funded research, including the ability to not just read but reuse such works? So good information here. And continuing with some old business. From austerity to abundance, why am I running for California treasurer? And this is from Washington's blog. It's a guest post by Ellen Brown. And Ellen Brown is the lady that I mentioned a few days ago who is running for treasurer of California. And she wants to help California. And how can that money be recaptured? By owning the bank. The approach was pioneered in North Dakota, the only state to escape the 2008 banking crisis. North Dakota has the lowest unemployment rate in the country, the lowest foreclosure rate, the lowest default rate on credit card debt, and no state debt at all. It is also the only state to own its own bank. And that is what Ellen Brown is hoping to do for the state of California. Certainly the state of California would benefit from all those things, and maybe this can spread from California and more states can create their own banks, and this is one alternative way of giving people access to funds without turning them into slaves. This is one for the be careful what you ask for file. From Philosopher's Stone, DHS begins using helicopters to spy on homes, claims they're looking for radiation. So, if we scream, we want you to monitor our radiation. And in so many instances, they set us up. And the wiser we can be about avoiding being set up and avoiding their traps, the further ahead we will all be. And now I want to change gears a little bit. These times feel like a struggle. I mean, it is January. It's still winter. Christmas is over. It's not spring yet. This time of year can be a struggle. And there's been a lot of news that is not all that encouraging. Of course, there is a lot of encouraging news too, but I want to give a little bit of a brighter perspective, and some of this isn't going to be all that bright, just being realistic, but I was very, very encouraged yesterday by hearing Dr. Nick Begich on InfoWars. And this clip is Fighting Zombification by the New World Order. This man has a tremendous outlook. He has a lot of hope for the future, and it's uplifting to hear him talk about his hopes for mankind in the future, and that his feeling is that the conscious revolution, the lifting of man, becoming more aware, and us through becoming more aware, realizing how we've been enslaved, he feels that's pretty much inevitable. And of course he has suggestions for how we can do that. But personally, yesterday I was very encouraged by this and wanted to share it in that light. It's not fluff, you know. The problems are discussed honestly, the issues that we are facing, but at the same time it is encouraging. And I went a little outside my normal sphere and scope this morning, and including an article from CNBC, World Economy, Jim O'Neill, Global Income Redistribution Could Be Coming. And I'm including this also as just an additional aspect of hope that it's inevitable that change will come. And if we can all just put forth a little bit of effort in insisting that we not be treated like slaves, the change will be positive. And this CNBC article is about a redistribution of global wealth. O'Neill said talk of wealth concentrating among the world's elite has become de rigueur in the United Kingdom. Most people haven't seen their incomes rise in tandem with surging stock markets, he said. The elitist part of the world is still benefiting. And it's helpful when there are mainstream media articles like this. People will remember things that we have told them, or that they've heard on Alex Jones, or somewhere else that they thought was crazy at the time. And then in hearing it from this acceptable outlet like CNBC, they will incorporate it into their thinking and begin to feel that it was their idea, which is fine. I don't want credit for changing someone's mind. I just want their minds to change. And another very visible statement about the things that many of us are aware of and talk about is a YouTube video of Nigel Farage stating that big banks, big business, and big bureaucrats run the EU. And he's speaking to the people of Greece, telling them that they're actually the ones long time ago who invented the idea of democracy and actually, Greek Republic. And just telling them that they are being manipulated. This is a very powerful statement and a very powerful video. And it is evidence that on a very large scale and even at a higher level, people are waking up and taking a stand. Here from Blacklisted News, even though I'm moving toward, I want to have uplifting suggestions and information in this portion of the video. I wanted to include this, which is not positive. In Detroit, heroin is being sold directly in front of public schools while kids wait for their buses. Now, this isn't specifically a racial issue. I'm sure there are kids of all races who are being targeted here. This is the way, one way the life force of children is drawn off, is sucked off. And of course, another way is through prescription meds for made-up conditions like ADD, ADHD, and other made-up conditions that are an excuse to sell drugs and push drugs to kids. So this is really just an aspect, a part of that. But I have it in the light here in the context of just really how African American culture has been co-opted and subverted. Detroit is, of course, the Motor City, or was the Motor City, the home of Motown Records and many remarkable black musical artists. And I was just processing this morning and thinking about the powerful soul, really magnificent soul that can be found in many people of African descent. And the expression of that, a lot of it has been through music. And certainly this song, Stand, from Sly and the Family Stone, is very uplifting. There's a midget and a giant next to him about to fall. There are many statements in this song about what I believe our current condition is, that we need to stand. And I have this as an example of just the beauty of creativity that can flow from an African soul. And I'm not being racist against white people. It's just that, and I'm not saying that the only thing that African descended people are good at is music or creativity. Though certainly those values could be held very high and respected. But the loss that we suffer when anybody in our culture is held down or held back or diminished is tremendous to all of us. It's a loss that we all suffer. And African American music has been just a tremendous blessing for the entire world. Blues and jazz and the Motown music. And quite honestly, I'm not a huge fan of rap and hip hop, although I really admire artists like Lauryn Hill who do put their heart and soul into it. It's not just a drug culture music. But I think that, the powers that be, the powers that were, however you want to put it, subverted African American music and turned it into something that, it's the drug culture. It's a picture of a school in Detroit with a heroin pusher outside. And this has killed the souls and diminished and taken away from the contribution to our culture by people of African descent. And I want to see this in light of understanding if people are different or have unique challenges. There are ways in which the cabal have selectively determined to hold each of us down and back and put bricks on our heads so that we can't become large. And if we can recognize, even among each other, what is being done to us, and help each other become free, and help each other become aware, and call up the best in all of us. And just by way of encouragement to anybody who is becoming overwhelmed by the struggle, I have this from Hebrews 12. Consider him who has endured such hostility by sinners against himself, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. You have not yet resisted to the point of shedding blood in your striving against sin. And you have forgotten the exhortation which is addressed to you as sons. My son, do not regard lightly the discipline of the Lord, nor faint when you are reproved by him. For those whom the Lord loves he disciplines, and he scourges every son whom he receives. And of course this is a reference to Jesus shedding blood. If we start to feel sorry for ourselves, oh, this struggle is so long, so hard, so overwhelming. No, just be strong. You have not yet resisted to the point of shedding blood in your striving against sin and, let's say, evil. So we can endure, and verse 7 says it is for discipline that you endure. God deals with you as sons. For what son is there whom his father does not discipline? So if we find ourselves going through struggles, going through difficulty, and of course struggle is an essential part of life, we can be encouraged. Seeing a butterfly struggle to emerge from the cocoon, knowing that it's the struggle that lends the strength that is needed for the next level of life, whatever we're headed into. So whatever struggle we're going through now, as things become better, we are all going to have to assume more responsibility, because with greater liberty and freedom comes greater responsibility. So let's just maybe permit this struggle to help us grow into the next level of responsibility. But to balance the struggle, from Wake Up World, vitamin P deficiency, how a lack of pleasure severely impacts health. And I won't get into this too deeply, because if I do, I will probably never stop talking. Because this is something that personally I am very passionate about. We need to have fun. We need to have rest. If we don't, we will never be able to function at our top ability. It's not quite the weekend yet. It's Thursday, but we're over the hump and have Wednesday. So looking toward the weekend, maybe you can begin to think about how to give yourself some vitamin P this weekend. Thank you for tuning in for today's 99th Monkey Liberty News. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.